Okay, folks, I need you to stop what you're doing right now because the models just went absolutely bonkers in the last 6 hours. And what I'm about to show you is legitimately insane. We went from forecasting 2 to 4 inches this morning to potentially 6 to 9 inches tonight. And if you live in Greenville or Spartanburg, you might be staring down the biggest snow you've seen in 20 years. This isn't me being dramatic. This is 3 separate models all screaming the same thing. And here's the part that has me absolutely fired up. Genuine blizzard warnings are going up for the Outer Banks. Drop your city in the comments right now because I'm going to break down exactly what's coming for your specific town. And folks, this is not a drill. Saturday is going to be wild. Here's why this storm is different from anything we've seen recently. It's got the pressure of a Category 2 hurricane, and it's going to be screaming up the coast with wind gusts over 70 miles per hour. Cape Hatteras is looking at 76 mile per hour wind gust as this thing absolutely explodes off the Carolina coast. We're talking near zero visibility and complete whiteout conditions. And just a 20-mile shift in the track means the difference between New York City getting buried versus getting nothing. That's how razor thin this forecast is right now. Let me paint the picture of what's happening across the country right now because the contrast is absolutely mind-blowing, and it's exactly what's fueling this beast. The entire East Coast is buried. New York under 10 to 20 inches from the last storm. Boston, Philly, D.C. all dealing with massive snow still on the ground. Meanwhile, check this out. Los Angeles is sitting pretty at 68 degrees and sunny. Phoenix, absolutely gorgeous at 72 degrees. That is a 140-degree temperature difference coast to coast. Think about that for a second. 140 degrees. That kind of extreme gradient is what creates monster storms. And that's exactly what we're dealing with here. Now, here's where this gets absolutely wild, and I need you to pay attention because this is the key to understanding why the snow totals just exploded on the model. Normally, when we forecast snow, we use an 8-to-1 or 10-to-1 ratio, meaning half an inch of liquid moisture gives you about 4 inches of snow. Pretty standard stuff. But here's the crazy part. It is so Arctic cold this time that the ratio could be 15-to-1 or even 20-to-1, which means that same half inch of moisture now produces 8 to 10 inches. Picture this. The exact same amount of moisture that would normally give you 4 inches is now giving you double that, maybe even more, because the air is so cold and dry. That's not me hyping this up, that's just physics, and it's why these snow totals are trending up so dramatically with each new model run. All right, now let me show you the math that's got me so fired up, because this is where it gets real for folks in the Western Carolinas and upstate. The European model is showing 6 inches of snow for Greenville, using a normal ratio, but with that 15-to-1 Arctic ratio, 6 inches becomes 9 inches. Anderson showing 5 inches on the model. Boom, that's 7.5 with the cold ratio. Asheville, same story. 5 becomes 7.5. And here's the kicker, folks. Some of you in Spartanburg and Greenville might wake up Saturday to more snow than you've seen in 2 decades. I am not exaggerating that. The Smokies could be pushing double digits. And when I say this is the real deal, I mean this could be a storm people talk about for years. Now, before you think I'm just cherry picking one model, let me show you why I'm confident in these numbers. Because the model agreement is absolutely remarkable. The European model and its ensembles are basically saying the same thing. When that happens, you don't ignore it. That's consistency we love to see. And get this, the trend today has been every single model run bringing more moisture into the Carolinas. 18Z came in higher. 00Z came in even higher. We are cooking with moisture right now, folks. And when you combine that with these Arctic ratios, boy, that's when things get interesting. But here's the one wild card I need to mention before we go any further. There's going to be a dry slot that works in somewhere, and it's going to rob somebody.
I'm a little worried it might be around Myrtle Beach up through Wilmington, maybe parts of central North Carolina. If you've lived here long enough, you know how this works. When energy transfers from the western Carolinas to the coast, there's usually one spot that gets left out. You've bought that t-shirt before. But for the western Carolinas, I'm pretty confident you're getting slammed. Same for much of eastern Carolinas. This banding setup is going to create some jackpot zones. Now let me show you something that's absolutely wild. The European ensemble is showing close to 100% probability that you get at least 3 inches. 100%, folks. That's 51 different runs of the same model, all agreeing. When you see that kind of signal, you don't mess around. The 6-inch probability drops off quite a bit, but we're looking really solid for that 3 to 6 inch range across the upstate. I feel good about 4 to 6 for Greenville and Spartanburg. The Canadian model agrees, 4 inches on the control and the mean. The GFS, while it's been kind of anemic, shows similar support. We've got model consensus here. And here's what makes this setup so textbook. We've got Arctic air absolutely crashing down from Canada, Gulf moisture surging up from the south. When those two collide Saturday afternoon, that's when the fireworks start. This thing is going to explode off the coast, with pressure dropping to 989 millibars. That heavy snow is going to streak diagonally across South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. It's not a straight line up the coast, it's angled. Charlotte gets hammered, Raleigh gets hit, the Outer Banks absolutely buried. And here's where the blizzard conditions come into play. A blizzard, by definition, is sustained winds of 35 miles per hour or greater, visibility less than a quarter mile, lasting at least 3 hours, check, check, and check. Cape Hatteras is looking at 76 mile per hour wind gusts Saturday night as this bomb cyclone absolutely rips. That's hurricane force winds with heavy snow. In those conditions, you literally cannot see your hand in front of your face. People have died walking from their house to their car just 50 feet away in whiteouts like this. That's why I'm being so aggressive about telling you to stay off the roads Saturday. This is not me being dramatic. This is genuinely life-threatening stuff. Now, for you I-95 corridor cities, the good news is you're getting scraped by this. Not a direct hit, but Cape Cod, you might get rocked pretty good. You stick out a little further into the Atlantic, so you could see similar winds to Cape Hatteras, but I don't think we take a direct hit in Jersey, D.C., New York, or Boston. You'll get some wind, you'll get some snow, but nothing crazy. The Carolinas are going to get more snow than just about anybody up the eastern seaboard. Let me rapid fire through current conditions so you know what we're dealing with. Columbus buried under heavy snow from the prior storm. Extreme cold at 12 degrees with more possible. Indianapolis over 12 inches in areas, bitterly cold at 10 degrees. Detroit brutal at 8 degrees with lake effect continuing. Milwaukee extreme at 5 degrees. Minneapolis hitting -5 degrees. Absolutely brutal conditions across the upper Midwest. Oklahoma City dealing with up to a foot of snow, very cold at 22 degrees. Nashville and Memphis both dealing with heavy ice and snow residuals. Atlanta sitting with snow and ice aftermath at 32 degrees. Kansas City buried at 15 degrees. Now, here's what's happening from a meteorological standpoint, and I promise I'll keep this simple because the setup is actually pretty straightforward. We've got multiple pieces of energy coming together. One diving south from the Arctic, one coming up from the Gulf, and they're going to phase together Saturday. When that happens, boom, you get rapid intensification, the jet stream dips deep, squeezes out all that moisture, and it just sits there dumping snow. Bottom line, Saturday afternoon is go time. That's when this thing cranks up and starts absolutely rocking across the Carolinas. And because it's so cold, any moisture that falls is going to be snow. We're not wasting anything to rain or sleet. Every bit of it is efficient powder. Even just a quarter inch of liquid that would normally evaporate before hitting the ground, this time it's turning into 3 or 4 inches of snow. That's what I mean when I say we're working with a lot out of a little. The efficiency is off the charts because of how Arctic this air mass is. Now let me tell you what you need to do right now to prepare. And I'm not talking about tomorrow or Friday morning. I mean literally right after this video. Stop what you're doing, go to the grocery store today, get water, non-perishables, batteries, anything you might need, because tomorrow the stores will be slammed. Fill your car with gas today, don't wait. Charge every single device you own, power banks, phones, tablets, laptops, everything needs to be at 100%. If you have a generator, test it right now, make sure it works, get fuel for it, and know how to operate it safely outside away from windows. Locate your warmest blankets and sleeping bags, gather them in one central room, that's your safe room if the power goes out, and it very well might. Check your smoke detectors. Check your carbon monoxide detectors. Fresh batteries in both. These are literally life-saving devices people forget about. Know where your water main shutoff is in case pipes freeze and burst. Know where your circuit breaker is. Have a flashlight right next to it. If you take prescription medications, make sure you have enough for at least a week. Pharmacies could be closed for days, folks. Bring your pets inside now. Make sure you have food and water for them. They feel the cold just like we do, and this is going to be brutal. Now I want to address something I've been seeing in the comments. Some people saying meteorologists always overdo it, that this is just hype. Look, I get the skepticism. We've all seen forecasts that didn't pan out. But this is different. Every single major model is showing the same general scenario. European, GFS, Canadian, even the UK model. They're all converging on a major East Coast winter storm. When models agree like this 48 hours out, you listen. The only question is the exact track. And that 20 to 30 mile difference determines who gets buried versus who gets a coating. But someone is definitely getting buried. I've been forecasting weather in the Carolinas for 20 years. And I can tell you, when you see model agreement like we're seeing right now, you take it seriously. Last weekend's ice storm caught people off guard. Over 110 lives were lost. Hundreds of thousands still without power. Don't let that be you this weekend. The difference is we have warning this time. We have time to prepare. Use that time wisely because Saturday is going to hit fast. Let me give you the timeline crystal clear. Today, Thursday, extreme cold moves in. Tonight, possible flurries in some areas, but nothing major yet. Friday, the system starts organizing. Friday night into Saturday morning, snow begins spreading north from Georgia through the Carolinas. Light at first. Saturday daytime is when we see the most intense snowfall, heaviest from South Carolina through North Carolina into Virginia. Banding develops and it gets wild. Saturday night, the storm continues intensifying as it moves up the coast. Snow spreads into Maryland, Delaware, potentially clipping Philly and New York with lighter amounts. Sunday, the storm impacts New England with heavy snow and high winds. Blizzard conditions absolutely likely for Cape Cod and the islands. Sunday night into Monday, the storm finally pulls away, but brutally cold air remains. Temperatures stay well below freezing for days. That's your timeline. Friday night is when you need to be home, off the roads, hunkered down with everything you need. And here's something else that's got my attention. There's a signal for another system, maybe next Wednesday or Thursday. We're 8 days out, so don't lock in yet. But the GFS is hinting at it. The Europeans showed it last night and again this morning. Roughly half the ensemble members are picking up on it. That would be Wednesday, Thursday after this weekend's snow. And here's the bigger picture. February is looking absolutely frigid and snowy. The pattern has shifted into a regime that favors cold and active weather across the east. We're talking historic winter pattern developing. Cold temperatures extending well into February, multiple chances for snowfall, nor'easter signals popping up, inland storms to discuss beyond this one. If you're anywhere in the central or eastern states, you need to stay plugged in. This is not a one and done situation. Winter is absolutely not done with us yet. Let me rapid fire through some other cities. Dallas, residual ice and snow, cold at 35 degrees. Fort Worth, 38 degrees. Arlington, 38 degrees. All dealing with aftermath. Houston, no active snow, but cold at 45 degrees. Austin, 50 degrees. San Antonio, 48 degrees. New Orleans, cool at 50 degrees. Jackson, Mississippi, 42 degrees. Out west, completely different world. Denver, cold and sunny at 32 degrees. Seattle, rainy at 50 degrees. Portland, wet at 48 degrees. Boise, sunny at 30 degrees. The Pacific Northwest staying mild and wet while the East gets absolutely pounded. That's the pattern we're locked into, folks. Some cities people don't mention as much. Burlington, Vermont, heavy snow and very cold at 10 degrees. Fargo, sub-zero at negative 10 degrees. Sioux Falls, bitter cold at 0 degrees. These upper Midwest cities are dealing with absolutely brutal conditions that aren't letting up. Now, I'm going to be keeping you posted continuously with updates. Every few hours, I'll have another video tonight breaking down the latest model runs. If you appreciate this level of detail and forecasting, do me a favor. Let me know where you're watching from right now. Drop your city in the comments. What are you hoping to see with this storm? Do you want the snow or are you dreading it? I want to hear from you because that helps me tailor these updates. This is a really good time to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and absolutely turn on those notifications. I'm going to be updating around the clock as this thing develops. Probably going live Saturday to cover it in real time as the snow starts falling. We're in for it, folks. Saturday is going to be a classic old school snow day. The kind where you wake up and can't believe what you're seeing out the window. For some of you in the upstate, this could legitimately be the biggest snow event you've experienced in 20 years. That's not me being dramatic, that's just the forecast. This is the kind of storm people will be talking about for years. Where were you when the big one hit? You know what I mean? Make sure your memory of this storm is staying safe and prepared, not getting caught off guard or stranded somewhere. Look out for your neighbors, folks. Check on elderly family members. Make sure they have what they need. This is when community really matters. I'll be back tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern with the absolute latest model data, new trends, refined snow totals, everything you need to know. Drop your specific town in the comments, and I promise I'll try to give you a detailed forecast for your exact location. Thanks for watching, folks. Stay safe out there. Prepare today, not tomorrow. And remember, we're all in this together. This could be historic. I'll see you tonight. Stay warm.